let's go ahead and move officially over to Q&A. Does that sound good?
Yeah, let me try to reset this. And while I'm doing this, I will say, Alex is asking if we're going to do more of these. The short version is yes. This is one of my favorite things that we do. It's just it really comes down to, it takes a lot of effort on my part to put one of these together.
Many hours, like 10 to 16 hours. This one was more on the 16 side of things.
Yeah.
For these to develop like the content, to do rules research. It also is expensive, right? Because we had to sourcing this, and so.
And with like the Universes Beyond sets, like those collector booster boxes tend to be a lot more expensive.
Yeah.
So like with Spider-Man and Avatar coming out, like that's probably going to price us out of doing another one of these until Lorwyn, but we'll see.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. And, if you really like what you see here, feel free to tell your friends at, we love partnering with people. Gerudo is a really great partner for us. We're very happy to be working with them. So Gerudo, if you want to see more of these, let's keep working together. Very excited about it. All right, friends.
All right. So the question I have right now, and Steph, if you have any more redemptions that I missed, I have, was it Benji's question?
Yeah, that's the one that we're seeing here.
So Benji asked about what happens with a mutate stack and transforming permanents. Let me make sure I've got this right. Yeah, what happens if you mutate onto the backside of a daybound, nightbound werewolf and it becomes day? So the short version is, so what happens with transforming permanents and mutate is, if you have at least one transforming permanent in your mutate stack, then the whole thing is considered to be a transforming permanent. However, when that permanent transforms, you only transform the components of the mutate stack that can transform. So like if you had a Fearful Villager somewhere in your mutate stack, it could when it becomes night, the Fearful Villager could transform into the Fearsome Werewolf, and you would just kind of, pick up the cards in your mutate stack until you got to the Fearful Villager, and then turn that one face over, and then you put your mutate stack back together. And that could have an impact on what your mutate stack looks like. In the case of Fearful Villager, it still would just have Menace and the Nightbound, but and it works that way too with when I was researching this, it works that way with face down permanents. So if you have a face down card in your mutate stack and then you turn it face up, you would turn the component of the face down stack face up, rather than turning your whole stack face down or whatever. So Olgari Glenross, the check when you're casting a spell with mutate, the target for the mutate spell can't be a human, but once you've already mutated onto it, there's no check for, is this thing a human now? So if you had a werewolf, face up, the non-human side of the werewolf face up, and mutated onto it, you'd be fine. And then if later it becomes day, then even if the werewolf was the topmost object of that stack, so we're seeing the type line of Fearful Villager, for example, you couldn't mutate more things onto it because it is a human, so it's not a legal target for a mutate spell, but it doesn't the stack doesn't suddenly explode or whatever because now there's a human involved.
All right, friends, do we have any? Oh, we have more questions. Natalie is asking, do effects that trigger when turning something face up still trigger if it's not the top object?
I believe so. I will do a quick check. So I kind of breezed over those parts in the rules when I was looking. Let's see, because I wasn't looking specifically for face down stuff. Face down. Nope.
Jen, thank you so much. Jen, you're very sweet. We appreciate you. Y'all, while Brad's looking this up, Tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, we're going to be right back here on the Steel City MTG channel, and we are going to be playing some Commander, which we don't usually do on our channel. Y'all, we're usually a limited channel, but we're going to be playing some games with Jen and Donnie. So couple v couple face off, and by that I mean we're all going to be like 1v1v1v1ing each, because yes, we compete very well with Jen and Donnie, and so we're very excited to play games with them. So tomorrow night, back here on the Steel City MTG channel for some Commander.
All right. So there are two relevant rules to a face up or a merged permanent containing face up or face down components. So if a merged permanent contains face up and face down components, permanent status is determined by its topmost component. If a face-down permanent becomes a face-up permanent as a result of an object merging with it, other effects don't count it as being turned face-up. So that's one rule. And then another rule is if a merged permanent is turned face-down, each face-up component that represents it is turned face-down. If a face-down merged permanent is turned face-up, each face-down component that represents it is turned face-up. So what this essentially means is if you have a face-down card in the middle of your mutate stack, or like say you cast this creature for its mutate cost, and then you mutate a Dreamtail Heron on top of it, the stack of cards would be considered being a face-up object because the topmost object of the stack is face up. However, the game would not count that card as transitioning from face down to face up, so you wouldn't trigger any effects associated with the card being from face down to face up. However, if you had, say, instead, like let's say you had an Inox Survivalist, our mutate guy, or our morph guy from before, and you mutated a Dreamtail Heron on top of it, or on bottom, it actually doesn't matter in this case, and then you used some other spell to turn it face down, like Ixodron, for example, to turn it face down, then all of the components of that stack get turned face down. And if you now have the permanent has a Megamorph ability, you could pay that to turn it face up, and all of the components in your mutate stack get turned face up, and would trigger abilities.
We have two questions. We have one, what happens if I turn a mutated doofus face down with an Ixodron? It's just a guy then. And then we have another question, transformed cards, i.e. werewolves, don't count as face down / face up, correct?
Yeah, so Alter, your question, if you turn a mutated doofus face down with Ixodron, it is just a guy. Yeah, so you take all of the face up components of that thing and you turn them face down, and then the effects would be written. We would just count that whole stack of objects as being a face down thing. So it would be a 2/2 with no abilities and text and all that. And yes, transformed cards, Natalie, transformed cards don't count as being face up or face down. In fact, I want to double check. Before I say this, let's see. Boop. Let me do this. Search for transform.
Natalie says, there's some wild superposition stuff going on here with face down, face up transformed cards. Can't wait until I need to perform the double slit experiment to find the state of my permanence.
Yeah, let me, I'm just trying to find the right spot.
So friends, while Brad is looking this up, did y'all see that Wizards of the Coast is hiring a judge program manager? I think that's kind of cool. I'm very excited about that. I don't know if any of y'all are excited about it, but I am very excited about it. I'm interested to see what that looks like. You were an engineer before you became a marketing director. Aha, I see.
Okay. Yeah, so I seem to remember there being a rule that specified that double-faced cards can't be face down. That's not true. Um, at least not from what I've been looking at. But essentially, yes, face down and transformed are different things. So like if you had our fearful villager from before, and some effect let you cast it like face down, or like you manifested it onto the battlefield, or you used an Ixodron to turn it face down. The characteristics of it would be, the normal 2/2, no abilities, whatever. And your opponent wouldn't necessarily wouldn't get to look at the backside just because you turned the card face over. Just another reason to play with sleeves, I guess. Um, but yeah, so a double faced card can be face down, and that is not the same as it transforming. And while it's face down, it can't transform because it has no rules that let it transform. So it's a whole thing with morph and transforming stuff.
Donnie, you're very sweet. Thank you for answering that question, Brad. Do you have anything else you wanted to add to that?
I just wanted to say, I don't have anything else to add to that question. Does anyone else have any other questions?
All right. Yeah, feel free to put any more questions in there, friends. I'm going to go ahead and start a raid over to our friend Sean here, Astral's Flame. Let me see here. We're going to send you all over there to say hello. So please be excellent to Sean as you were excellent to us. Y'all are really wonderful. We will see you back here on this channel tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, where we're going to play some Commander with our favorite MTG couple friends, Jen and Donnie. We adore them. Thank you so much, Natalie. Thank you, Gerudo.
Mm-hmm.
We're so excited about working with y'all, and we hope that y'all enjoyed this presentation today. If you want to see more of this, tell people about this. Tell people that you had fun. Tell people that you learned a lot. And you know what? In the chat for Sean, just write the word copy. Write the words copy a bunch of times. I feel like that would be a kind of fun way to announce your presence there. Yeah. Okay, friends. We'll see you all later. Enjoy hanging out with Sean, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.